What is going on, Wolfpack guys? We had the launch of Saita Realty. Saitama dropped a little bit in price action, and drama follows Saitama. It's probably why they rhyme. So we're going to look into a little bit of, all of it, because I think all of it matters and all of it's relevant. This is not financial advice, but I'm always right.
Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid.
All right, guys, we're going to lead this off with a little bit of price action. Now, if you follow me and you pay attention to what's happening here, we did have a parallel channel. It was coming through off of an upward movement. So, it's a bull pennant, and you want this to break to the upside, but it did not break to the upside. If we stretch this out just a little bit, you can see that it really broke to the downside. Now, here's the issue. If I pull in just a little bit and I start to move this out, did we really break out of that channel? And the answer is no. You haven't really broken out of the channel, and we're touching as many points of contact as we can to try to establish how that line is. So it's heading down, but here's the thing. Saita Realty, we were hoping, was going to be the start of a move to the upside, and it didn't work out that way. Now, the launch of Saita Realty came with some drama. There was Portobello Mushroom Jelly Belly, who didn't get his $350,000 in tokens. That was the rumor that was going around on Twitter, and because it's Twitter, but I don't know that that's been taken care of or not, but that's not a good look. When you do things like that, it doesn't come off as a good look. If that was the case, then also you had another gentleman, which we're going to get into in just a few moments, came out, had a long, 4 or 5 videos worth of complaining about Saitama and what he felt was an issue, what was going on, and some of the disrespect that he felt or he experienced by several of the developers of the project. Now, before we get into that, we're going to look at this. We're going to say, listen, we're really, listen, you don't like to see this because you don't want your price action to go down, but we've seen it before. It's happened before. This thing has bottomed out, and it has had those moments where it's gone way down. But guess what? It's usually followed by a decent sized pump. Now, there are many levels of resistance here for Saitama. This right here, right now at 28.59, is going to act as another point of resistance. Then you got another one at 3,000, 3,100. It's just going to keep going because there are points of resistance that you're going to have to break through in order to achieve new levels. And that's going to take new investors. And that's what Saitama desperately needs right now. 135,000 investors, probably not enough to capture the glory days, the things that you want to happen. But again, we're in a bear market, so it's very difficult. The easy part to all this, the easy part is to be a Chad that goes, no, I hate Saitama because, I bought in at like November 12 and it was like 7 billion market cap, and like it's down to like 100 million market cap right now because look, if you're a shitty investor, I can't make you a good investor. But at the end of all your sentences, it should end with, because I'm a bad investor, at least. So let's keep things in perspective. Now, let's move on to this. Motion is doing a 1% Saitama buy burn on all transactions for 12 months from launch on the Motion token. So if you're interested in that, by all means, invest in the Motion token. Let's get a little bit going. You want to have a little bit of burn? It'd be a good thing to happen. A reminder over here, because I thought it was important to point out that there's a 1% burn on all transactions, 1% reflection on all transactions, and 2% sustainability tax. So I go back over here and I point out that the 24-hour volume just on Uniswap is 368,000, which means that $7,000 at least at a minimum is coming through per day to Saitama so that they can continue to do the things that they do day in and day out. Now, if you go over here and you start to look at Saitama V2 and you go to the full markets, then you start to get an idea of, take all the crybaby stuff out of the way, trading $13 million on OK X, and you're trading $500,000 on LBank, $380,000 on Uniswap. Listen, there's a lot of people doing a lot of investing in a lot of Saitama. So there's a lot of marketing that's still left to happen here. So don't get it twisted, guys. There's still a lot of life left in Saitama. Saitama moves that needle, and it will have another run, and that run will come sooner than you think. Now, we got to talk about Rasheed Al-Balushi. I don't know the guy. I don't know who the guy is. I know who he thinks he is, and he thinks he's somebody really important. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because he, according to his profile here, is an oil and gas industry worker, and he started his videos with that he was in the oil and gas industry, and he wanted to get Saitama into the oil and gas metaverse. And to summarize, he started to do something with Grove Token, and they told him that would be a conflict of interest because Grove Token was also doing something in the oil and gas metaverse. I don't know what an oil and gas metaverse is. That doesn't make any sense, but I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that there's a group there that's kind of sponsoring everything, and that's what he's doing. Now, here's the thing. At the end of this, maybe Saitama just didn't want to do business with him, and they kind of strung him along. Now, is that a good thing to do? No, it's not. But you do want to hedge on your bets, and maybe Saitama was looking at this and thinking like, this is a great idea. Let's do this. And then as they were starting to move along, they thought less and less that it was a good idea because this guy's involved. Not that this guy's a bad guy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying because this guy's involved, they wanted to be involved in something their own way and not through an intermediary. So maybe they were trying to move on from this business deal right here, a business deal that he felt good about, and they weren't good at making the cut or anything like that. It's very possible. So, and by the way, I encourage you, go look at it. It's at RSAIBLOO. No, RSALBLOOSHI. Go listen to him. Take the time to pay attention to what it is that he had to say, because there are some enlightening little nuggets over there with MK and Elon Mansour. And listen, at this point, we know who we're in league with. We know who the partners are. So to expect them to behave any differently from the way that they've behaved all of this time, to me, seems like utter nonsense. Continuing to point it out, I mean, you do what you got to do. If you feel like you got to let your opinion be known, if you feel like you got to have it hanging out there for everybody, perfect, fine. I mean, do your thing, because it's important that everybody knows what opinions are. But at the end of the day, this is not how the stock market works. This is not how real investors work. This is not how a business. Look, this is a business deal going down between a business and an entity, with this gentleman being the entity. And instead of just not working the deal out and walking away, this guy's coming to Twitter to cry about it. So the full tapestry here. When most companies have dealings that go back and forth, they settle it in court or they just walk away from the deal. But you've never seen Nike come out here and say Adidas is garbage because they didn't sell me some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to understand what it is that you're dealing with. This guy just wants you guys to know that he was mistreated, and that's fine, but still, that's not, maybe that's the reason Saitama did not want to do business with this gentleman. And that might be the end of the story. It just might have been a messy sort of breakup in that regards. So moving on. All right, guys, right now there's 135,000 investors, and you got a whole bunch of influencers crying, well, Saitama is no longer 100 million market cap. Right, but Saita Realty is close to 100 million market cap, and Saitama is close to 100 million market cap. So it's about a $200 million ecosystem with just those two, not including anything else that might be in the pipeline. So the end of this is, yeah, but you're also a Chad who's crying. So there's a couple different types of investors that you have to deal with at this point. I'm still an investor. I'm going to leave my Ethereum in for a long time and see what happens, because I'm interested to see how this plays out. I want to be invested in the process, and I want to communicate to you as effectively as I can and as objectively as I can on everything that goes on. But primarily, there are several types of investors. One are the people that bought at the top that sold. Now, they're unhappy because they lost a whole bunch of money. And at every given opportunity, they're going to cry to you on Twitter, because that's where crybabies go to do crybaby shit. Now, the next step is the people that made a little bit of money but didn't cash out at the top because they're a cultist. Now, those people are no longer invested in the product because they also sold, but they moved on to a token called literally Cult, and you can't make that up. They literally moved on to something called Cult. And they also apologized to you and said, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. It's unbelievable. I have to apologize to all of the people that I backstabbed, that I punched in the face, that I kicked when they were down, that I disrespected. And you have the guys like Faltron, who doxed a doctor and who went out and doxed other people and who offered people money to dox other people or to talk bad about products. Then you have people like Kelbell, and I don't know Kelbell. All I know is she's an attention-seeking girl on Twitter that's now a cult member. And the only thing that I know from her for sure is that she disrespected Sandstorm at one point over his wife because she doesn't like what Sandstorm's wife does for a living. It's none of your goddamn business. Why don't you mind yours and not everybody else's? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a woman can make a choice about what she wants to do. And Kelbell, if you want to be wah, 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 hey, listen, we're not all going to keep judging you all the time. We're just going to ignore you. So your 30 seconds are over. You know what I mean? And then we have other people that fall into this line of they're bad people and they've walked away. So now you have this next layer of investors. They're the people who are still invested, that invested near the top or up and are not in profit, and they're waiting patiently. And I've told those people, and I'm telling you, Saitama, it'll do a 20 or 30x from where it is right now, or from about 150,000. I'm predicting that it's going to do 3 billion to 4.5 billion market cap. I will never tell you, and I've never told you, that I think it's going to approach its all-time high again. At best, I think it's going to get about half of that. And it's going to take a good bull run in order to do that, or some big catalysts that come along. But listen, the catalysts are going to be easy with Saitama, and they're going to be easy because of this. Saitama moves the needle. It moves the needle. And then finally, there's the investors who are settled in a good position. They might even still be in profit from the beginning, and they're just waiting patiently for the moment that it all rises up again. Now, here's the thing. At the end of all of this, I talked about 4, maybe 5 different classes of investors. And guess what? Every single one of those investors can't shut their mouth about Saitama. So when you get to the end of this, if you lasted to the end of this video, and I hope that you did, then ask yourself the question, why can't they shut up about Saitama? And the answer is because Saitama still moves that needle. Rodney's still making videos about it. Sandstorm can't stop making videos about it. There's plenty of people who make negative videos all the time, and they can't stop themselves. Do you know why? Because they want you to pay attention to them. I'm doing the same thing. I want you to pay attention to me, but I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm going to talk down to former investors who joined cults and who were bad people, because they're still bad people. But at the end of this all, I just want this product to be successful, and I want you to be able to get some of your money back, or most of your money back, or all of your money back, and even make some profit. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's not financial advice. My name's Bleaves. I am always right. And Wolfpack, rise up.
I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for